Hi, and welcome back to the Human Thrive podcast. So, I'm Amanda, your host, and I'm the Human Thrive coach. And I'm so excited to be back behind the mic with you. So, it's been a little while since our last episode, and honestly, this pause has given me space to reset, to reflect, and realign, and look at what this podcast is truly here to be. So, I want it to be a space for honest conversations about what it means to thrive as your authentic self. So from today, you'll have a brand new episode every Thursday, a moment each week for you to exhale, reconnect, and remember who you are beneath all the masks and expectations. So this is the first in a series especially for women who are late diagnosed or self-identified ADHD. Women who are finally understanding that their brain isn't broken, it's brilliantly wired. So today's topic feels like the perfect place to begin. So we're talking about something that so many of us feel, but rarely say out loud. Am I being too much when I'm being myself? So as I was diagnosed ADHD age 46 when I was doing a postgraduate course in neurodiversity. And I have a son who's autistic. I knew of all my things, it all seemed to make sense. From ADHD, I just thought it was a hyper wee boy who was always getting into trouble and always running about and never sat still. And as part of this course, we were learning about ADHD and how it presents in women. And I had the light bulb moment whenever I was going through everything and was like, oh my goodness, they're describing me. And all my life, I just thought I had depression, anxiety. Sometimes I've thought I other things as well, but nothing else fitted. And when you go to your doctor and say you're feeling anxious or you're feeling depressed or you're crying all the time, you don't mention, oh yeah, I'm also, 1 minute I can be depressed for a while, then, like for an hour a day, then the next minute I'm planning my next business idea. I jump around from things to things. I can't read it. I love reading, but I don't read a book from cover to, to end. I jump in and out of other books. I'm always doing courses. You don't talk about them things because they don't seem like anything that your doctor would sort or that there's anything wrong with them bits. So you go and you talk about the things and you get a diagnosis of anxiety, depression. And start medication for them, which helps with the impulsiveness. And you're wondering, from my own experience, why, when I'm such a positive thinker and I've done a lot of self-development work, why do I need this medication? Why do I need these antidepressants? And then I've realized they help with the impulsiveness of ADHD, where I don't mind talking about this now, but spending money. It's either like now or not now. So if I've got money, trying to plan for the month ahead and know that has to do you, it's like no concept of time, that you have this now and you can spend it now, and you don't think always through the consequences. And being aware of that, you can obviously have strategies and you can work on it, and even getting older and realizing, but you still need strategies. And my partner used to think I was being selfish when I'd spent a lot of money. And deep down, I know that I'm not selfish, but I kept doing it, but didn't understand the reasoning behind it. And now I've been able to put strategies in place to be able to, I suppose, them executive dysfunctions that most people have and can do. I realize I need to have external things, or even for like time and stuff. So anyway, not getting into that now, but there's lots of strategies you can use once you realize. So this decided to do a series for women who are the same, maybe late identified, late diagnosed, or even self-identified, which is totally valid because we know how hard it is to access diagnosis. And we also know about the stigma, and a lot of people are like, oh, everyone thinks I've got ADHD. I'm not even getting into that, because there is certain, obviously, traits that every single person has, like forgetting things or getting a wee bit distracted. Everybody will have them, but it's the degree to what people have them that would meet a criteria for an official diagnosis. So of course everyone thinks they have it, and a lot of people only hear the wee tiny bits like, oh, I got a bit distracted, or feeling a wee bit hyper, or, they don't see the the deeper issues of like sitting, knowing you have to get up and do something, but your head's so busy and you're fighting with yourself. They don't, they think of it like the wee quirky, oh, she's a wee bit scattery, and it's so much more than that, as we know. So I'm going to do a series for women, the same. So this is part 1 then, is the fear of being too much. So if you've ever been told that you're too sensitive, too emotional, too talkative, even too quiet, too intense, too distracted, you're not alone. For many of us with ADHD traits or diagnosis, or that too muchness becomes the reason we start to shrink, we start to mask, we start to tone ourselves down. We have learned to edit our own personality, to be quieter, to just be quiet. Like at school, I was so quiet because I was afraid of being weird. I suppressed my personality so much that I almost went the opposite and didn't want to speak, and I was masking, and it was so exhausting. And when I got home, I was so drained. But then people around me who I could be myself, they say, I never stopped talking, or I was always making up dances, or I was doing. So I was so masked in school. And it's weird because then you're sitting quiet, you look as if you're getting on with your work, so nobody says anything. You can just almost fit in. And you want to keep your personality kind of suppressed. So you want to pretend that, quieter, calm, more focused, more like everybody else, just to feel accepted. And it's so subconscious because I didn't understand any of that. I just knew that I had to shrink. I didn't feel comfortable speaking out. I was almost subconsciously suppressing myself and worried that you're going to look strange, or you're going to say something wrong, or you're going to ask a silly question, or and you didn't want to be seen. I didn't want to be seen. I just wanted to shrink in where nobody could look at me, nobody would talk to me. But the truth is, so I've learned both personally and through coaching, and doing a lot of coaching now with women, the same, that you were never too much. You were just surrounded by environments that couldn't hold your full energy. The environment was suppressing you through no fault of anybody around you. The environment, you felt it. You weren't safe to be yourself. And when you live in a world built for sameness, so, everybody wants to fit in, and even people that want to be fit with their peers, I never understood that, because I was like, they're like mean girls, we would group of mean girls. I don't want to be with them. Why does everybody want to be friends with them? I don't even like them. I want to be out on my own. And then people think you're on your own. You're like, oh, you're sad and lonely and nobody wants us. I didn't like anybody else. I didn't like many people in my school. And I felt different from them, and I didn't want to be with them. Didn't feel comfortable even to be myself with them. And yeah, because they weren't my tribe. And so when you live in this world built for sameness, and our brains are wired to keep us safe. So being outside of the tribe, you're literally in danger. So we all crave this. It's inbuilt in us to want to be part of the group, because and that's how you survive, by being part of a group. But you can find your own group, and maybe that group that you're longing to be part of, and it's not feeling right. They're just not your tribe. They're not your people. And if I've realized I've got older and I've made friends, and I'm like, God, these are the people that I feel so comfortable I can be myself with. And anyone that I can't be myself with, and I feel that mask, then they're not for me. And that's okay. We don't need to be liked by everybody, and we don't need to like everybody, because we're all different. So being authentic can often look like rebellion. You just want to be different, or you just want to be, but you're just being yourself, and we're not all the same. Much as people think we are and we try to be, we're not the same. So unmasking isn't about being loud, it's about being real. So unmasking doesn't mean oversharing or doing everything differently overnight. I've realized I don't know if it's a wee bit of discovering and going for a formal diagnosis, or is it just being older, 47, and perimenopausal? Is it just that I find it harder to mask now, and I don't know if it's a wee bit of I don't want to mask anymore. I'm confident and I want to be myself. sometimes I get the odd, or I've said something, or I've said too overshared, and then I'm like, oh, cringe. And I'm cringing at myself, and I'm like, right, okay, Amanda, it's done. It's done. Do you know, is it harder to mask now, or is it because I don't want to? Oh, maybe a wee bit of both. So, yeah, even now I'm like, oh my God, getting distracted going, oh yeah, I did that. I said that the other day, I cringed. Oh, shouldn't have said that. But yeah, it's maybe a wee bit of getting older and not feeling that peer pressure, or that to be the same as everybody. So unmasking doesn't mean oversharing or doing everything differently overnight. And I mean, we all mask. So we all mask sometimes. If I was in like a very formal setting and people don't know me, we'd all mask. We all mask a bit, and sometimes we have to because it's not appropriate in certain social situations. So we do all have to mask a bit. But it's that moment when you, I suppose, being gentle to yourself, that moment when you notice that you're about to apologize for something that doesn't need an apology, or catching yourself saying, I'm fine, when you're really not. And maybe it's okay to say that you're not. Giving yourself permission to kind of pause, to stim. Like I fiddle with my hair a lot. I put my hair, when it's drying, I fiddle with it. I fiddle with my fingers. But yeah, playing with my hair a lot, which is probably my little comfort thing. So, and sometimes you realize that my mum said to me, it looks like a nervous thing, but I think it's just a fidgety thing. Anyway, I suppose it's calming your nervous system. So giving yourself permission to do that if you need to do that, or to get up and move, or I love pens, and I've always got a pen in my hand. Even if I'm typing on the computer, I'm holding a pen. So maybe that's my fidgety thing. And basically give yourself permission to do that, and that's okay, because it's your nervous system, it's your life, it's your story. So being authentic isn't about being perfect, because nobody is. Nobody's perfect. It doesn't exist. That's an illusion. What even is perfect? So it's about being present. And I mean, the saying, all suffering is caused by our own minds. We're so worried about what other people think all the time. And it's like inbuilt in us. And it's really hard to get away from that. And it's heartbreaking when you see kids who are so, 1 minute they're in the shop and they're standing in the queue and they're dancing about, and they're not worried about judgment. And then they get a bit older, and then they start to get self-conscious and start to get worried about what people think of them. And it's so sad, because that then causes us to not be ourselves. And then how bad is that when we can't be ourselves? So yeah, the question then, does it matter what people think? So the reframe that changed everything for me was what? When people say you're too much, what that often means is you're too alive for the comfort of their conditioning. So put it back onto them. It's none of your business what they think. And that's okay. So not everyone will get you, because not everyone is meant to. We all have different brain types. We all have different vibes. You will meet someone who you instantly click with. You'll meet someone who gets on your nerves. You'll meet someone that triggers some anger in you. And that's okay. We're not all meant to get on. And not everyone will get you. So your energy may be misunderstood by people who haven't yet allowed their own authenticity to exist. So you might be triggering someone who is deeply masked and can't be themselves. And you being yourself is making them uncomfortable, because it's triggering them wanting to be themselves. But that's their personal development journey that they need to go on. So a lot of ADHD people I've met are very empathetic and probably would want to help that person. But we have to go, that's none of my business. We need to focus on ourselves. Not to say you can't help people if you want to help people, but you need to protect yourself and your own energy first. And so anybody that is able to be themselves and seeing other people be themselves will feel comfortable to them, and you'll vibe more. So the real question isn't, I too much? You are who you are. It's, am I being true to myself? Am I being myself? Give yourself permission to be yourself. And anybody else, it's none of your business. Not that you say you can't help them, or if they're family or colleagues, You have to obviously still have a relationship with them. But nobody should be stopping you being true to yourself. Because when you live from that place, you will magnetically attract the people, the spaces, and the opportunities that match your frequency. And that is your tribe. So, a little gentle reflection. Let's just take a wee moment, check in with your breath. A little gentle breath in through your nose, out through your mouth. And ask yourself, so where in my life am I still trying to shrink to fit in? And what part of me feels too much? And what if that's actually my strength? So let this week be an experiment in allowing your full self to show up, even if it's just 1% more. And notice what changes when you stop managing your own energy to make others comfortable. And instead use your energy to make yourself feel safe and seen. So this is not about being selfish. This is about you, as I said before, you're the center of your universe. If you spin round, you're at the center and you cannot help anybody else. Everyone has responsibility for themselves and everybody is their own journey and their own self. So thank you for tuning in to this first episode of our new season of the Human Thrive podcast. If today's conversation resonated with you, share it with a friend or come join my community of women who are learning to thrive with ADHD, and you'll find the link in the show notes. So I've started a paid membership community with live coaching, and I've also got a free community you can join. I've got a short course being released soon, which is an ADHD reset. And I'm looking forward to seeing some of you on it. So in the meantime, remember, your authenticity isn't too much. It's you. It's you. That's okay. You're safe to be you. You're not in some jungle where you have to be part of this tribe or you're going to get eaten by a lion. Hopefully you're not in that situation. So you be yourself and see how that feels. So I'm Amanda, the Human Thrive Coach, and I'll see you next Thursday for another episode where we'll dive even deeper into the journey of unmasking and thriving as your true self. So until then, keep showing up, keep leaning more into who you are, and keep choosing to thrive. Thank you everyone for listening. Bye.